Hi guys, Mark Peratt here, author of Metatrends and the Next Economy. I was at a recent party and a friend of mine asked me a question, said, "Hey Mark, who should be reading this book?" So we decided to come up with some videos, a series of videos on all the different people, and there's really 6 categories. I'd like to start with college students. So if you're a college student or a recent graduate, this is something you need to be paying attention to. In fact, at the end of this video, I'll walk you through an exercise on how to virtually guarantee that CEOs and C-levels will be clamoring for your resume. Alright, so what's Metatrends in the Next Economy about? Well, it turns out that the future breaks down into the knowable and the unknowable. So Metatrends in the Next Economy is all about knowing the knowable future. The press likes to concentrate their time and attention on what's unknowable. My belief is that's because it's dramatic, it's compelling, and scary. Wonderful fodder to sell newspapers, but that's not what I'm here to do. What I'm here to do is actually make sure that you're more successful. And the dirty secret of universities and colleges is that they charge a lot of money to make people more proficient in their chosen field of study. But they do little or no forecasting with their education process. So which industries should you be targeting your resume towards? Which ones are going to thrive in the near future? So that's where this book comes in. So what I'd like to do is walk you through an exercise and how to ensure that you're actually going to get your resume looked at and be called in for a job interview. Alright, so the first thing is you start this when you're a sophomore or a junior. If you're a recent graduate, it'll work too. It's just, it's nice to see that by the time you actually graduate, your resume would be being looked at. It turns out that ERISA, which is an acronym that in effect talks about employee-sponsored retirement plans like 401ks. ERISA actually, whoever the custodian is or the person responsible for making sure that the plan is administered correctly, it turns out that's public information. It actually is a database of all the ERISA plans based in various different zip codes. So the first thing you do is figure out, well, what zip code do you want to live in once you've graduated or are a recent graduate? Where would you like to actually set up shop and start a career? You put in that zip code, it spits back a database of all the ERISA-based plans. You then look at each of those industries that are in that zip code through the lens of, are they going to thrive or not? Now that's chapter 8 in the book. And then what I would do is simply say, identify which ones will, identify 10 of them, and then start this at the beginning of a quarter, like let's say July 1st or October 1st or January 1st. And then you're going to write each one of these 10 CEOs a handwritten letter. Now I get that that's a lot to ask for a college student. Like, oh, when am I going to find the time? How do I do that? But think about it this way. What's the message that will be received when the actual letter is in the hands of that CEO or C-level? The people my age value handwriting. They also value phone calls. And one of the biggest laments that they have to me, complaining on a regular basis, is that your generation doesn't like phone calls. They don't like to actually write things. They want to do everything by text and email. And there's a lot of communication that's lost in that process. So by you doing this exercise, you're going to make yourself very rare. All right, so what they will see is that, well, you value things that they value. You're like them. And people want to be around people who are like themselves. If you're communicating in the fashion that they prefer, boy, is that going to make you rare. In the letter, you're saying, I'd like to break into your field. I can't think of a better way to figure out how to do that than from someone who's already been there and done that. Could you spare some time and some wisdom for a college student looking not to struggle as much as I would if I didn't have your wisdom? And there is nothing that a middle-aged person wants to do more than espouse their wisdom on the next generation. It's just what we do. Take it from me, you can see from my face, I'm a middle-aged CEO myself. If you start writing these handwritten letters, you include your cell phone number in it. In fact, what I'd like to do is, at the end of this, in the comments, if you'd like me to do a video on just exactly how to do this, I will, if enough people respond to it. You write the actual letter, ask your parents how to address a letter, hand stamp it, and you send out 10 a week of these for 13 weeks. My guess is around midway through that time period you'll start receiving phone calls. Now you have to be prepared for that too, and the phone call actually goes something like this. Sir, I can't believe that you actually shared some of your time with me here. I really appreciate it, but rather than to be I want to be useful with this time, and I don't want to abuse this gift that you've given me. How much time do you have for this conversation? And what were you hoping to get out of it? You'll be astonished at their surprise reaction to it. Many of them will say, I have as much time as it took you to write those letters. So now what happens is you just simply ask them, what would you do if you were me? They'll tell you what to major in, what should you be focusing on, how to supplement what you're already learning in college, what's the extra credit stuff you should be doing, you should be interning with, what have you, and then listen to them. And then write them back. Start a correspondence with them about how you listened to them, how it worked out. Now, don't go to the well too often and be needy. It's more like show them how you took their wisdom and ran with it. The better CEOs are really excellent coaches, and what they're going to want to do is coach you through this process. Then they're going to want to see you succeed even more once you've graduated, and will be clamoring for it. If you do this for 4 quarters, say it's July through July, you'll have, no exaggeration, 40 to 50 companies dying to get your resume. So make yourself rare, make yourself useful. This is just one example of how to do that. I'll be coming out with more videos in the future. This book contains wisdom, and wisdom increases your vision. So give yourself the gift of vision. Meta trends in the next economy. Thank you for watching.